Some things began to percolate and circulate in my heart. God was dropping some new things in, particularly I think as a result of an orientation that I was starting to get, a perspective that was coming, that because of it, 3 words, heart, life, and kingdom. Because of these 3 words and my exploration in the Bible with those words, I started to see something much larger than I had known in my faith and in my Christianity, in the gospel. So I started talking about this larger gospel. Not to bash that there's a smaller one, but it was like the gospel began to expand. And the bigger it got, the bigger everything was. Me, God, and especially the environment that I was in. This idea of orientation and perspective became kind of the mission of Search and Rescue. I wrote it because it was impacting me, that there was a life and a love that was looking for me. Search and Rescue is written for predominantly believers who are struggling to be believers. I've been this person, and I get acquainted with a lot of people who are wanting more, but feel like it's evasive. They're hungry, they're thirsty, they're searching. And what I felt inside was it depended more and more on me to get something done, or to find a missing piece, or to do better, to work harder. And that's where I think the weariness came in, that there is a pursuer of you, and that one that loves, adores, and you are so valuable. I am so valuable to him that he would come after us again and again and again. Not just an initial search and rescue, but multiple times. Is this just another self-help book? I think some may see it that way. That may be their perspective. It wouldn't be my heart or hope for the book, that really it would be a God help book. That for the cynic, there's a reason why they're that way. I think this book is great for that person. They've tried so many remedies, they've tried so many cures, they've tried those things that have not either been able to sustain or been able to see them through. And it's, I think, for that heart that's tired, that's weary, that's skeptical now, that's done faith and done Christianity and done belief, and maybe even is close to being done with it. This is what Search and Rescue is attempting to do, is pull our hearts out of the black and white and into this technicolor that is so much larger than we've settled into, than we've come to believe. There's a much larger story that your story's in. If you lose the context of the larger story, we tend to live small. And what I mean by that is, when you're the center of the story, when the story's about you, you're living in way too small of a story. And so Search and Rescue invites us to kind of pan out, to move to a larger landscape that will give us tremendous orientation, perspective. There are dangerous things in the world in which we live, and not just the physical realm, but even more so in the spiritual realm. And I want to bring answers to those questions. What's the spiritual realm like? What is this intersection in which we live? Who am I? Where am I? And what is the good stuff that God is up to in my life? That's what Search and Rescue attempts to, those questions I wanted to answer in the book. You can't control this life that we're living in. It would be like a sailor who thinks they have control over the sea. It would be absurd. And yet I find that so many of us have fallen to that place of managing our lives, controlling all the variables. And if you're tired of that, and you really are ready to say, it doesn't work that way, it's not working for me, That's a discouraging declaration, and it might be the first one in your step towards freedom, toward hope, and towards a journey with God that your life isn't, and my life isn't a problem to be solved, it's a journey to take on. My hope for those who read Search and Rescue, that it would bring an orientation to their hearts that would lead them to an intimacy with God that maybe they haven't ever known, or that they have and it has faded or drifted, and that it could be restored in a way that it's not years old, but it's a reoccurring, a dailiness of love and life with God, this intimacy, connectedness, and oneness that we were made for, to have with God. And that would be great.